Hello everyone, we are back finally with another FAQ of the month. We've been away for a couple of months due to lockdown, but here we are, and thanks to all you guys for submitting your questions via Instagram. And let's begin with the first one. May I know what is the difference between the Ibanez IBZ humbucker and Infinity R humbucker pickups? Now those are the stock pickups that come with Ibanez guitars. Something fell down, I'm sorry about that. And as far as I can recollect, when I personally tried them out, I preferred the IBZ for more heavier stuff, and I believe that they came up with the Infinity pickups to be a bit more versatile. So I had an RG470 that had Infinity pickups in them, and they sounded good. Eventually I did swap them out. Difference, if you had to pick a difference, I would say maybe the Infinity is a bit more versatile, I think. But I can say that Ibanez has come out with the new range on most of their RG guitars, the Quantum series pickups, and those pickups are amazing. I think they can do almost any genre. I've owned a RG421 and those pickups were brilliant, the Quantum pickups, so check them out. Please, can we have some drum related gears? Stagg cymbals, please. For those who don't know, we have a bunch of Stagg drum hardware actually and drum sets. You can check them out on the website. So we do have a range of cymbals from Stagg, the SH and DH series. You can check them out on the website. And if you have anything that you don't see on the website, you can inquire via our sales hotline. Out of context, but how to take care of unfinished maple wood? What oil can I use? So with unfinished maple wood or fretboard, meaning there's no gloss on it, typically it comes with a oil finish from the factory. So in order to maintain it, you should use a sort of oil polish that does not contain any acidic content. So do not use things like lemon oil and stuff. What I can recommend you is the Music Nomad F1 fretboard oil, because there is no acidic substances in that oil and is perfectly safe to use on an unfinished maple board. Next question, what is the best all-round DAW digital audio workstation? So he's asking, which is better, Pro Tools, Logic, Cubase, Ableton, Fruity Loops? Honestly, there is no such thing as the best. They all do what they do, and you stick with what you learn first, and just pick one, study it, and you'll get to use it. Next question, Shure SLXD versus Shure SLX. So over here in Music Bliss, we definitely sell the SLXD way more because the D stands for digital. The regular SLX is an analog wireless system, and most people are not into that anymore. Some are still afraid of interference from outside, radio waves and stuff like that. So most people are using the SLXD nowadays, so you can check that out. Best cheap 7-string. I can recommend you the Schecter SGR C7. However, unfortunately, what I've heard from Schecter is they're having issues with the factory in China. They've been moving factories and production is severely delayed. So we are going to get the stock pretty late on this one. But you can call our sales hotline and inquire when you can get it. If you have a bit more of a budget, you can kind of double that budget. You can check out the LTD EC257, because I felt that was a pretty great feeling 7-string guitar. Why my strings rust so fast? I always wipe the strings after done playing, but they still rust. Well, there's so many factors here. The humidity in your house, how much you sweat to the palms of your hand, are they really sweaty? So even after wiping them down, and if you still leave them out in the open, they can still rust. If you don't touch or play them for a few days, they can rust. So the best way I would recommend you to maintain or make your strings last longer than they can is after wiping them down to put something like a string lubricant, such as the Music Nomad String Fuel or GHS Fast Fret. And then once you've done that, put it back into your guitar hard case or soft case. Good guitar effects processor in a rack mount form. Of course, the Fractal XFX3 is the best that I can recommend. If your budget does not go that high, you can check out something like the Helix rack version. What is the coolest guitar shape in your opinion? Mine is the Iceman. Oh, I do love the Iceman. My favorite has always been V-shaped guitars, Gibson Flying V. I always thought they looked cool, they really rock and roll. And what I've been liking recently is the ESP Vulture, the James Hetfield V signature from LTD and ESP. And if only I could afford the ESP version. But the LTD version is much more affordable. And I always thought that V-shape looked a bit more sleek with that headstock, and it looked a bit more narrow, so it looks like you could handle it better while standing up. So yeah, my favorite is the V-shaped guitars. Condenser versus dynamic mics for studio usage, which would be more versatile? Well, either would be versatile as long as you know how to place the mics and how to set your gain staging via your interface into your DAW. But if I had to choose one, I would probably pick a condenser, because I find personally I'm not a professional audio engineer, and I find that I can set my gain staging better with a condenser, and I prefer it to record more details. So I would pick a condenser microphone. Next question. Get a baritone tone from a non-baritone guitar. How? Especially on guitars with a trem bridge. This is very difficult to get, because the whole reason why a baritone sounds like a baritone is because, number one, you are down tuned, you're not in standard tuning, so you're most probably in B standard. Number two is because of the scale length, the guitar is much longer, so you are getting a low sounding tone because it is down tuned. And number two, you're getting the clarity from the low tuning is because of the longer scale length. So to replicate this on a regular guitar is not easy, and that's the reason why we have baritone guitars, and you get baritone guitars for those tones. And trying to replicate it with EQ or compression is pretty difficult. You're not really going to get there, which is why if you notice, if you own a Digitech Drop and you down tune it even lower, the tone of your guitar gets even darker, because the pedal is trying to replicate the dark sounding tone, but you're not getting the clarity because of the scale length does not match a baritone guitar. So this is going to be pretty difficult to do actually. So you got to get a baritone guitar no matter what. Pitch shifter, octave, harmonizer, what are they? What are the options out there? So between these three, an octave pedal will only change the pitch in octaves. So it's going to bring it down 12 semitones down or 12 semitones up. And with a pitch shifter and harmonizer, you're literally changing the pitch of the guitar. So from your regular note, you're going to a minor second or minor third. A harmonizer will basically have your standard regular guitar note, and it's going to harmonize that via a guitar scale, via minor second, minor third again, major fourth, blah blah blah. So what are the options out there? So some of the most common options would be, if it's an octave pedal, it's going to be like the Boss OC pedal, the OC5, or you have the TC Electronics sub and up. So those only specialize in dropping the octave or increasing the octave, be it one whole octave or two whole octaves of your regular guitar tone. And typically pitch shifters and harmonizers, typically they are built into one pedal, so such as the TC Electronics Brainwaves or Quintessence, or you got the Boss Harmonist. So the pitch shifter will allow you to, number one, change the pitch, shift the pitch of your guitar tone. You can harmonize the different notes. So these are some of the options. So you got also the AHX pitchfork, and if you're talking about other pitch shifters, of course you have the Digitech Whammy series, the Drop, the Ricochet. Those are some of the options to check out. And some cool things with some of the pitch shifters nowadays. So if you want that whammy effect and you thought only the Digitech Whammy does that, that is an absolute no, because nowadays with the pitch shifters such as the Boss Harmonist, the PS6, the Brainwaves, and the EHX Pitchfork, what you can do is you can actually set it to rise and fall like the Whammy from Digitech, just by using the foot switch on the pedal. So if you feel that the Whammy is too big to be on your pedal board and you want that same sounding effect, you can check out the Boss PS6 or the TC Brainwaves or the Electro Harmonix Pitchfork. Recommend the beautiful sounding reverbs with built-in or external expression pedal input. I can probably recommend you a couple from Earthquaker. One is the Avalanche Run, and the other one is the Astral Destiny Reverb. Those are pretty unique sounding and very beautiful sounding reverbs, and they have an expression control which allows you to change certain parameters of the pedal. And if those pedals are a bit too pricey for you, you can of course check out the TC Electronic Hall of Fame, which is only about 530 ringgit, and all the TC pedals, most of them have the mash button function. So by holding down the foot switch, and it is pressure sensitive, so the harder you press it, the more you're going to hear the parameters that is changing in the pedal. Will you guys take in any headless guitars such as the Ibanez or the GUC brand? Well, we'll be having the Ibanez headless guitars in pretty soon, I think, maybe in a month or two. So if you'd like to secure or find out what is coming in, you can contact our sales hotline at 016-311-1286. Bare knuckle pickups. It's just a statement. Yeah, they're great pickups. We almost got a chance to bring them in, but because demand was dying down over the years, nobody was inquiring on bare knuckle pickups, that we eventually did not bring them in. So there's more demand, we'll bring it for you. Merdeka Sales this month, bro. Music Bliss, best prices in town all year round, bro. Just contact us and we'll hook you up. If you're looking for a rock heavy sound, is it from the guitar type, pickup or pedal effect or big watt amp? So many things. Number one, you need a good right hand. You need to know how to strike your strings with the right amount of force to get a good tone. Number two, whether it's from the guitar pickup, the pedal or the amp, it is a combination of so many different factors. If you had a guitar pickup which is high output, you don't need a pedal with too much gain, or you don't need an amp that has too much gain as well, because naturally the output of the pickup is going to be pushing more signal into the pedal of the amp to make it saturate more. At the same time, if you don't have a high output pickup, you had a low or medium, and you had a mid gain amp, you're going to need a pedal to kind of boost that amp into higher gain territory. So it is actually a combination of different things. So it's not necessarily just one item, it's a combination of a few things. Tell me more about ESP GRASSROOTS. So GRASSROOTS is a sub-brand from ESP. It used to be sold only in Japan. It was their low range guitar at that point, and eventually they started selling it to other Asian countries and Europe. And the guitars are made in China, and what is their strong point is, it is not just some OEM guitar factory in China where it's making a bunch of other guitars and hey, we'll make GRASSROOTS here as well. So the factory in China is completely owned by ESP Japan, so they're only manufacturing GRASSROOTS guitars there. And what happens is, once they are made there, they're sent back to Japan and they do the final quality control check to make sure everything is good, and then only do they ship it out to other countries and dealers and distributors. So we do have a few select models from GRASSROOTS. We are trying them out recently, so you can check out our website for the prices and what models we have, and also to stay tuned to our YouTube channel because I'll be demoing some of those guitars. Any Martin Taylor and Yamaha guitars bringing in PRS anytime soon? Please contact our sales hotline at 016-311-1286 to find out. Headphone for recording. So keyword recording, he didn't really say that he's mixing on them or what. So I'm going to take it that he specifically wants to use it while recording. So you definitely want closed back headphones. You do not want semi-open or open back headphones, because when you're recording into a condenser microphone, the noise from that headphone can actually leak back into the mic. So you want a closed back. So if you have the budget, you can check out the Beyerdynamic DT770, that is the closed back version. Or if you would like to check out something from Audio-Technica instead, M50X, M30X, they're all good to go. But if you are on a severe budget, you can check out the Mackie MC100. They are excellent headphones for the price. Our last question for the day: which floating bridge is the less hassle to set up? Thinking of getting one in the future. Honestly, floating bridges are not a hassle, because once you have them set, they are set. They're not going to they're not going to move or anything, you know. If anything, it's just minor tweaks from the back. So it's only a hassle if you're going to change tuning and if you're going to change the gauge of your string. But once they're set up, they are no longer a hassle. They stay in tune well no matter how you abuse your whammy bar. But of course, if you really want to think about something that's a less hassle, the Ibanez floating bridges are less of a hassle. The Edge 02, for example, even though if you broke a string, it relatively still stays in tune. It is much more stable. But the downside to that bridge is the bar does not react like a traditional Floyd Rose or Charlotte floating tremolo, because the edge is a bit more stiff. So you want to do flutters and those quick moves with the bar, it doesn't react the same. So nothing really beats, you know, a proper Floyd Rose bridge. And that brings us to the end of our FAQ for this month. Let us know if you have any more questions down in this video below. Follow us on Instagram, where we will post a story asking you to ask us more questions. With that, see you in the next one. Take care. Stay safe.